Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Thursday. Has been a long week of recovery across parts of North Mississippi. And we're going to talk about a couple of different ways in which that recovery is continuing to progress with different folks on sides of that, including emergency management, as well as a local charity with a national footprint that is moving in. But before we go there, let's talk this. Extreme cold warnings have been expanded as expected to include much of the Magnolia State and likely to be extended once again into this upcoming weekend for all locations as temperatures approach the single digits. And when you have so many vulnerable Mississippians, that could be a very, very bad thing. That is our main headline this evening as you're prepping ahead, looking toward this upcoming weekend. Dangerous cold returns, and it returns for all folks. Again, about 100,000 Mississippians still without power, just under that, according to the most recent press release from the governor and his press conference earlier on. Unfortunately, the death toll in this state now up to 14, and it does seem like that is probably going to rise beyond that, unfortunately. Progress, though, in Oxford and Alcorn County. We'll talk to folks in both of those locations here in a minute, and the flakes will return for some, believe it or not, this weekend, but we're not expecting travel disruptions. We're not expecting significance, nothing like what we have just had. But over the first 12 here, as you can see, from 41 degrees there at 6 p.m., we're 33 by 9, by around midnight, 31 degrees, and then back into the 20s by early tomorrow morning. Kind of a quick moving little burst of moisture kind of moving into our region. One of the things that we're tracking the potential for maybe some slightly more active weather with, but in general, expect things to hopefully remain relatively dry and obviously cold, but not as extremely cold as we will get. We are joined this evening by Dustin Sullivan. He is with the 8 Days of Hope, and that is was originally a charity that started here in North Mississippi and really has turned into a nationwide ministry. Dustin, thank you so much for joining us here on Mississippi Live Weather at 5. You know, you guys do a number of things. The feeding ministry you've done much of the week, but I think you have really the next step where this kicks into gear starting Saturday, right?
Yeah, Matt, thank you for having me. We appreciate everything that you do and helping save lives by having people prepared for these storms coming up. But yeah, right. So Saturday morning, beginning early Saturday morning, we will have crews of volunteers out all throughout Lafayette County, helping people after these storms, helping tree cleanup, helping patch roofs that have got holes in it, that tree branches have come through, help clean up their yards, their driveways, trying to beat some of this cold.
Yeah, and that's a challenge, right? To try to get some things started to clean up. This is going to be obviously such an incredible cleanup effort, but the rapid response portion that you guys are a part of here, is this the extensive one that's expected to go all the way until Valentine's Day?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Matt. So right now we're scheduled to be here in Oxford until at least the 14th of February, but potentially looking at a 30 or longer. There is catastrophic damage, as you already know. Sometimes we go into places after tornadoes and we're actually hard to find work to keep our volunteers busy. This particular response, we're not going to have that problem with. There's damage just all over the place. It's like a hurricane of ice has just attacked north part of the state.
It really is. So, you guys are an incredible charity. Help out in a lot of different ways. How can people, really help out? I have your website up here, 8daysofhope.com. If you haven't heard of it before, and there's a tab there where you click volunteer. You guys are still doing the mass feeding, though. This is not just, the kind of rapid response. You have number of different legs of this that you're a part of.
That's right. Yes, sir. So we do have mass feeding going on. We're feeding in multiple places. We're preparing our meals at this current time at our headquarters there in Pontotoc County, Mississippi, but we're distributing those meals to multiple locations. If they want to be part of that, they can go to our website, 8daysofhope.com, for more information. They can register or sign up to volunteer there. Also, for rapid response, if they want to come to Oxford, and if they want to serve with us here, they can also volunteer there as well. Also, I understand that volunteering, pulling limbs, assessing, climbing on roofs, that's not for everyone. And some people may want to contribute financially because it does take resources for us to continue what we're doing. So 100% of the resources, donated resources that are given to our ministry go straight to this fund. Pretty cool thing that we get to do.
Yeah, it really is. And it is very well organized. It's, while it started, in Mississippi, you go all over the country. You have millions of dollars of equipment here that have been purchased through donations. And you don't have to necessarily know what you're doing in order to help out with this. It might be the person who knows what they're doing with the chainsaw, up high working on that. And it's just someone like me that's just dragging those limbs to the street. Again, every set of hands helps.
Yeah, just tell people, if you have a heart to love and serve other people, and just have a heart to helpless, you come and serve with us, and you'll feel better about yourself and what you do afterwards. You'll just be blessed for people.
Well, we're so glad that you guys are in the region. If there's anything we can do to spread your message, just let us know. Again, it's 8daysofhope.com in order to volunteer. Again, this is people from all over the country coming to Mississippi here to try to help put things back together, starting there in Lafayette County. And again, thank you so much for joining us, Dustin. Anything else you want to pass along to our viewers?
No, sir, Matt. I sure appreciate you and everything that you and your team do. You keep up the good work.
But thank you so much. I appreciate that. And hopefully things go very well. And we're looking forward to hopefully being able to try to get over there and feature you a little more over the next few days. Dustin Sullivan, Rapid Response with 8 Days of Hope. Thank you so much for joining us here on Mississippi Live Weather on this Thursday evening. I've almost lost track of which day of the week it is. Luckily, every graphic I have, including Mama Justice Doppler radar, has a day of the week on there for me, just in case. No precipitation out there at this time. We are dry. We are clear all across North Mississippi. And we are looking toward our next chances for a little moisture. You can see this warm front coming in. I know warm front, nice sign, but it's attached very quickly here to another storm system that has even more cold air. And that cold air is substantial and deep behind this here. We click that over, we show you the temperatures behind it, and it's a pretty decent drop. Does not take long before those temperatures behind this get down, not just into the 30s, but the 20s and the teens and single digits. So this is what is coming out of the north. This is what is spilling in. And unfortunately, this means another chance for dangerously cold air that's going to flow back in on the backside of this storm system. In the near term for tonight, that's not going to be a huge factor. We are cooler, but we're not super frigid tonight, says a person with heat in his house. And I get that if that's not the case for you, it's going to be cold enough, but temperatures aren't quite as cold, down around and a little below the freezing point, but it's going to be much, much colder as we head into this upcoming weekend. But with this quick moving system there, if you look closely, just a little bit of green, just a little bit of pink showing up there. Not impossible to have a rogue flake with that, but that's as much moisture as we have. And you'll notice that's not much there. We will break that down in more detail, look more closely at that coming up here in a couple of minutes. But our forecast over the next 24 hours here, starting off in the morning, 28 degrees. There's that limited chance for a little bit of moisture as we go through the first part of the day there. We're 39 by noon, north winds cold, and those cold winds continue to bring in the colder air. That's why we're back into the low 40s there by 3 p.m., but that wind chill is going to probably be in the low 30s, if not 20s. And as those northwest winds continue in, it'll feel, instead of like 24, more like probably 18 or 14 by your evening on your Friday. This is the setup that brings us much, much colder, dangerously cold air as we progress into this upcoming weekend. And we will look at that forecast for the weekend, how far those temperatures will drop here in just a couple minutes. We also anticipate talking to the folks up in Alcorn County. Evan Gibbons there with an update on recovery efforts there, a very hard-hit county across North Mississippi. We are trying to reach out and talk to each of the counties as we can. We've struggled to get a hold of the emergency manager there in Yalobusha County. I think I've got an old number on that. We're hoping to talk to them at some point here in the next few days, hopefully. But tonight is about as mild as conditions get. We'll show you how far they drop as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center right after this.
Look at Wanda, ready to rock her big presentation. But first, lunch. Sweet Pepper's Deli. Delicious, celebratory, but is it quick? The Cobb salad. Tender oven-roasted chicken, topped with cheese. Prepared, plated, and served in 6 minutes? Is this for real? Well, of course. Well done, Wanda. Sweet Pepper's Deli. Yes, ma'am. Life is sweet.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lobhon.
As the sun sets in Amory, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lobhon. Thank you so much for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather. I was talking to the folks at Rotary in Amory today, and one of the things that they mentioned is just how blessed and fortunate they felt that they missed out on the worst of this ice storm. Very little ice in Monroe County, all of it easily gone. Temperatures well above the freezing point. As we've talked about in the Room to Room Weather Center, though, while we have little bits of moisture on the way the next couple of days, meaningful moisture in the form of wintry precipitation that causes debilitating transportation and otherwise, that's not what's coming. But Monroe County and all locations are going to be a lot colder going forward. Lowndes County, another one of those spots that we are watching in Caledonia, kind of a mix of clouds there, 48 degrees at this time. Get ready, Caledonia. That feels like temperature by this time tomorrow is probably more like the 20s and could be down below zero for some wind chill temperatures before this next system is all said and done. Still snow on the ground in Clarksdale. That sun just off screen there. Camera bouncing just a little bit, 41 degrees, so doing some melting, less ice on the trees. Again, it's day-by-day improvements, and as we wrap up our camera tour here across North Mississippi, we're outside in Batesville, which, again, travel has been hard hit. As you can see, the roadways there, clear at this time, travel looking a little bit better, but again, power outages remain something that is just a nonstop fight for so many electric power cooperatives that are continuing to try to bring that power back. Low temperatures over the next 7 days. You can see the drop here. Again, today around 20. Tomorrow, this is why we say milder, 27 for that low, or 14 there by Saturday, only 12 by Sunday. And temperatures improve a bit more into next week, so we get some thawing. But obviously this weekend, we're talking teens out there and colder near the Tennessee state line. That is setting us up for dangerous cold. And yes, this is the variation we have on here. I could not fit the lowest low. I could not fit the warmest wind chill temperature. It's kind of both sides of that here. It tells you, again, the drop this Saturday morning in particular and Sunday, when you factor in wind chill, dangerously cold air in place. Day planner, as you'll note, again, going through this evening, 7 p.m., we're 37, 33 by 9, and 31 as we head toward 11 o'clock. Under will be, again, a mix of cloud cover out there and just relatively clear skies, and those winds not terribly bad at this point in time here. Futurecast, again, showing us with mostly dry conditions the next few hours here. We're watching that approaching storm system. You'll see it on the HRRR model here in a second where it was covered up by the low a minute ago, but we have that big low pressure kind of moving in. This is not nearly as strong as the last one that came in, but as this moves toward us, you can see kind of that mix there of some mixed precipitation, some lighter rainfall, all kind of tracking eastward. Timing overnight to early tomorrow. Yes, that has pink on the map there. But unlike what we just came off of before, you see how that's as light as it goes on our scale. It's not particularly impressive. That means we are not expecting dramatic impacts from this, thankfully. Low temperatures, I mean, listen, this isn't warm. And again, from the insides of a toasty house with electricity, I get that I can say that this isn't as cold as it has been, but still pretty chilly for those folks up there in Union County at 26, Tippah County as well, 26 Boonville, 25 degrees in Corinth. We're 25 Oxford as well as Water Valley, 28 Grenada, and 27 Eupora and Starkville. Wind chill temperatures in the morning, somewhere in the teens to the mid-20s. Not a big drop there yet, but I mean, up there in Santobia, where our Maggie McCauley is, we expect obviously that's going to be kind of a cool spot. I mentioned her. If you have not checked out Maggie, she does an excellent job. So updates on, again, the latest looking toward the cold temperatures for this weekend coming up tomorrow morning starting at 6:30, 7:30 a.m. That's when she's on your television screen each and every day of the work week. We're so glad to have her a part of the team, and hopefully you'll make her a part of your morning. That's our meteorologist, Maggie McCauley, on Mississippi Live Weather today, 6:37 and 7:30 a.m. here on the app, as well as YouTube, Facebook, all the other places where we do things there. So school day forecast for your Friday. And yes, more and more of you going to school each day. There are a lot of folks that still aren't. Our IMPC school day forecast does have that limited chance for a little bit of moisture. Most of us not experiencing that. 38 by lunch, 40 as we look toward the final bell, as warm as we have been. Now, our HRRR model, our futurecast here, has a little bit more blue on the older version. Let's point this out here for a second. This is a way in which our models work. So the short-term one, we have the first 18 hours on the absolute newest thing. But those models only go 18 hours out. And so then we have to switch over to something that came out around midday today. That's this one. And it'll update up at 6 o'clock here. But it does show, again, a little bit of blue on there for where it says maybe a few snowflakes could fly from this. I think, again, that is optimistic that's a little more than I think will probably happen. But if you see a couple rogue flakes for about that long in the morning, and you can see, if you notice over any place, in particular place, does not last particularly long. I think we've had some of those picturesque flakes from time to time this week. And that's a possibility again for tomorrow with this. But as that system slides away, cold air, really cold air coming on the backside of that is the story. And it'll really drop those temperatures. And you can see just those lines coming right there out of Canada. And unfortunately, this means dangerous cold for those that do not have electricity. And unfortunately, that still is a lot of Mississippians. As bringing in a little closer here, the clouds start to clear on out. And that actually is not a good thing. Without that blanket of cloud cover, that helps temperatures to drop even more. So high temperatures on your Friday, expected to be somewhere in the neighborhood of around the 40-degree point, which is a major improvement. Our normal high this time of year about 54, as you can see, but just with the wintry precipitation, we haven't been able to get that warm. 39 in Water Valley, 40 there for Grenada, 42 Houston, 44 degrees in Starkville, and about 46 in Macon, 47 in Aliceville. So let's look again at the kind of the next chance. There's non-zero chance to maybe have a couple of flakes to mix in here for late Friday night. Watch how short-lived any of this is. Just not much there, right? Those temperatures remain fairly cold as we continue to have, again, maybe, see right there, maybe a couple of rogue flakes. I think that's probably overdone on that projection there, but not an impossibility. Do we expect travel disruptions? Do we expect any major issues out of this? No. But a couple of flakes possible, maybe a light dusting in some spots, but it's nowhere near what we just came off of. This is the story. 14 for that low in Tupelo, 13 New Albany, 11 for Holly Springs. And again, we still have this very highly impacted zone with so many people out of power. And if you're tired of hearing me say that, that's going to be the next week and a half or so that I keep bringing it up, especially when you have what is dangerously cold weather. So I bring that up to say, if I'm someone at home who's been just kind of making it throughout the week, with the possibility of cold like this, let's be considering staying someplace else. Hopefully National Guard getting in there, clearing out the roads enough that we can do that. But let's make plans to stay someplace warmer, because the last thing we want is to have another person that succumbs to the elements. And essentially that's really cold air inside some of the houses, or carbon monoxide poisoning. And I'm afraid that the number of reports of that are probably going to go up in this pattern. I'm hoping that's not the case, but it very well could be. It's an odorless gas. You can't see, and that just makes it dangerous because it replaces, with every breath you breathe, if you're burning something inside, kerosene, propane, even wood to a certain extent, and it's not properly vented outside, we have to worry about carbon monoxide. It is a silent killer, and unfortunately, I think the number of deaths from that could go up. As you note here, lots and lots of these dots coming from the north and west, meaning very cold winds coming in from the north and west behind this, as wind chills remain cold all throughout your Saturday. We expect it probably never feels like it's above the 20s, even into the afternoon. And you see how you just have this little lingering bit of cloud cover there, and the lingering flakes? That's part of what's a more prominent batch of snowfall with this storm system back to the east. So this is like maybe flakes, and that's obviously something else back out that direction. So high temperatures on Saturday, might as well be low temperatures tomorrow morning. This is actually colder Saturday afternoon for the actual high than low temperatures will be for the morning on your Friday tomorrow. So very chilly out there. Normal this time here 55, instead will be 25 in Tunica and Clarksdale. Again, bitterly chilly, and where things have not thawed, obviously we'll continue to keep some of that ice around with that. We're 12 for the low on Sunday, 35 all we manage, but slightly above freezing. Now, we do start to warm up a little bit more as we go to next week. We still stay below normal. We still have sub-freezing overnight temperatures, but every day with afternoon temperatures above freezing, that certainly kind of helps folks out. And we're hopeful that, again, getting the National Guard in there is going to help out to clear more of these roads and make things somewhat more passable. But obviously, as I see Jonathan Lee saying there in the chat, can we tell Entergy and others to hurry with the power, please? I can tell you right now that in particular, the power crews, they've been working nonstop since this, and they are doing their best to try to alleviate the issues related to this. So hopefully that can happen here sometime pretty soon. Well, we were hoping to talk to the Alcorn County Emergency Manager. I think we will connect back with him during our 6 o'clock show. He is so busy, as are so many of these emergency managers. You can always connect with us as well using our chat. Again, we have that again next to me here. So many questions that you guys have had recently. Brenda mentioning how wonderful a meteorologist that Maggie is. We appreciate it. We're so lucky to have her as part of this. And as Danny says up there in Houston, got really lucky in Houston. Yes, you did. I'd say Millport, Alabama is the case as well. But it's just been, again, power outages as we continue to assess that. And that's something I have not talked about in this broadcast, and I think is probably worth mentioning here. The power outages do continue to come more into focus. Cold, but unfortunately with the cold weather on the way, we have issues related to that. I'm going to pull off those advisories here for a moment. But power outages coming down somewhat more, but still significant. Over 12,000 there. Lafayette County, 6,000. We show Pontotoc County, Tippah County, more than 10,000 still. Union County, 2,000. Prentice County, 2,500. Tishomingo County, couldn't read there, so let's clear that off. We're still talking up in Tishomingo County in excess of around 7,500. So it's a slow process. Panola County, 10,000. Yalobusha County, about 5,000. But hopefully these numbers will continue to go down. There's just so much damage and, dare I say, devastation. And that makes it difficult. So we appreciate all of your comments. Coming up at 6 o'clock here, we are going to talk to the emergency manager in Alcorn County on the progression of power restoration, as well as just in general, bringing in outside help. More of that arriving today with the National Guard, the warming shelters. We'll talk about all the things going on there in Yalobusha County. That's coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 6 p.m. And we will hope to see you then. Again, like, subscribe, follow, all the things, and support those sponsors that support us here on Mississippi Live Weather. Our room-to-room weather center, one of those, Mama Justice Doppler Radar, and so many others. Keep it here for the latest.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious. When he began to discover weather, Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes, and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.